Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kirusho here. Now then, I should be able to record for the day, so I hope I don't get interrupted. Which, let's be honest, I'm going to be. Now, let us begin. When we last left off, Deku had just flushed down the toilets and was told to meet Elizabeth Green at this location. Meanwhile, outside of his house, there is a conversation between All Might and Endeavor. They are trying to figure out exactly where two of these other behemoths can be, along with more of the settlements. Talking with one of the men, they have found that there is not one too far away. In fact, 5 to 6 blocks, which All Might can easily cover in a short amount of time. Now, he would immediately start heading over, along with Endeavor. These two are actually just walking along the rooftops, as they are somewhat talking. It's not very friendly, but they're at least trying to make idle conversation. Now, as they are gone, Mountain Lady has stuck behind, because her reason being to All Might is that if anything happens or if a behemoth comes toward the settlement, she can try and lead it away, or at least fight it to hold it off. Now, with that, All Might and Endeavor had left. Now, the next morning, Deku, he is being woken up, and he does see one familiar face. The man that has raised him, that we call Alex. Now, he's a bit confused as he would immediately jump out of his bed, actually hugging the man, asking him where he's been this whole time. Things have been a bit weird. Oh, sorry about that, Izuku. I've been trying to help them link up every settlements. In fact, I've been over by the bridge. Really? Over near the yellow zone? Oh yeah, actually. It's at the edge of the yellow zone. Don't you know that? Oh, sorry. No, not really. I've kind of just been... I'm usually going into the red zone. I don't go the other direction. You really shouldn't be doing that. That's dangerous. Sorry, Alex. Anyways, what's going on? Where's Mom? Oh, your mother went out for another supply run. Don't worry, she should be back later. But I will have to leave tonight. Again? Yeah, sorry, kiddo. I can't really stick around. As he would immediately stretch, saying that it's been a bit busy. They've had to deal with a pack of hunters to the north. And there is a problem. Deku would just ask what that was, and he would just say that apparently people have been getting sick from the water filters. So he'll need to sort that whole mess out too. Deku's still being confused, not knowing what to say. As Alex would just tell him that they're going to be leaving then, and trying to find something. As Deku realizes that today he was supposed to meet Elizabeth Green. Now, he is a little worried, as him and Alex would leave. Now, as they're actually walking out, Alex would bump into a man, as he would immediately turn around, saying that he's sorry about that. Well, James Heller, he would just say that's no problem, just be careful. Now, they would immediately go up to the ladder as they begin to run on the rooftops. Deku basically keeping himself at a slow pace, as to not throw off Alex. Now, while they're running and going through, they actually do find a different area. In the red zone, they are working to find something at a convenience store. Thinking if they can find it here, then it'll be perfect. They are looking through things as they would find a bag of charcoal, some kitty litter, and a couple sponges. This being somewhat close to what they need, but not all of it, as they would be packing up. Now, as they are leaving, they are still trying to figure this out more and more. As one thing would happen. There would be a loud sound, and a hunter would immediately come running in, tackling Alex and throwing him into a building. And it would immediately begin to scream, as Deku is turning around, looking at this in shock. One simple thing would happen. All you would see is Elizabeth Green in her armor walk out, holding the hunter and immediately throwing him into the wall, as she immediately turns around, smashing and pulling down the top of the building, covering it, telling him that should leave him, that he'll be fine. From what she saw upon initial inspection, the thing barely grazed him. Barely, it just tackled him into the building. Yeah, well, you're lucky he hit the window. Otherwise, he would have broken his back. You've been watching us? Obviously. Now listen, we're supposed to meet today. Yes, I know. And if your hunger goes out of control, you said I don't want to know what happens then. Yes, you don't. Now, you need to take him back to the settlement. Or, at least, I can take him back to your settlement, but you need to meet me here, as she would immediately point down the road, toward the heart of the red zone. Deku, he would understand as he just asked how she's going to do that. She would immediately transform back into herself, saying that she can do it. No one has seen her face in quite a long time. As Deku would start walking away, her immediately starting to pick through the rubble and actually moving around, as she would throw something over her shoulder and begin to walk. Now, Deku, he is at the location. It is an old factory, and it's confusing, as he walks into the building and he is looking down. There is a giant pit full of infected, as he immediately someone just throws himself off. He's thinking that that's crazy. There's that many down here? Have they been here this whole time? This is the red zone, so I shouldn't be surprised, but that's crazy. Of course it's crazy, as Deku would just immediately look up, seeing her just standing on top of standing on top of a piece of machinery. It's supposed to be that way. Now listen. These infected, you can test out your claws. They're mindless, brainless, and don't care. In fact, they will willingly bite into you if it means getting them a meal. Now listen, kid. I want you to try doing that absorption thing. Now, she would watch as Deku, he's a bit more not into this. Just saying that he doesn't want to do that. As she would immediately just tell him that if he doesn't, then she'll leave him to kill his entire settlements. As she turns, immediately jumping away. As Deku would just shout, "Wait." Her immediately turning her head with somewhat of a smirk, turning around and then just throwing it off of her face, asking what does he want. Alright, I'll listen. Just at least tell me what to do. She would explain to Deku to take out his claws and immediately get close enough to one of the infected. Then you must use the virus and eat through their body. Deku, not understanding that, her just saying that it should be fine and instinct should take over, so he shouldn't have that much trouble. Now, Deku, he would immediately slice through one of the infected with his claws as he finds that he's actually absorbing it. It coming up into his arm and coming throughout his entire body. Him immediately feeling a bit stronger. Now, Deku has been a bit more on the skinny side, but he's been more lean. Now, as that happens, he would immediately continue ripping through them. As whenever he is done, he would sit down to rest for a second, actually going to take off his shirt, because he's sweating and it's, well, ruined, with being covered in blood. As he would have taken it off, he would have found that he actually has more muscle on him. What the hell? Oh, well, don't worry. Your body needs biomass to function, so it shouldn't be surprised that you've gained some. But why in muscle? Well, it's how the virus works. It takes the best traits from your DNA and brings them forward. So, the virus gave me abs. Basically, yes, but you were already in a pretty good condition before, so you shouldn't be surprised. Now, as she's explaining this more to Deku, Deku would absorb one more thing, as Elizabeth would tell him that this is a final test. She would immediately just bring her hand down to the ground as one simple thing would appear. A Hydra would come spiking out of the ground as Deku watches this. He would immediately just jump away as he is watching what it's doing. It's got its giant claws, and it is immediately spinning around the room, as it is slicing through the infected, and absorbing their biomass. Elizabeth would just say that this is a Hydra. I'm guessing you've seen them before. Well, yeah, but not this close. Well, good. Now, what you need to do, what you need to do is eat it. What? Consume it. Deku, being a bit more confused, would just run straight at it, jumping onto it, digging his claws in, as he tries to consume it. He would feel it fight back as he actually does get blown away, as the Hydra knocks him off. Why didn't that work? Of course it didn't work. You can only eat it when it's near death. Not like, as she would immediately stop herself. Not like anything else. Just like every creature, you need only eat it when it's near death. Deku, understanding this, he would immediately try to battle it, as his increased reflexes and strength would give him somewhat of an edge. Along with his increased durability, he would just be throwing equipment and machinery all around it. Until he does throw one thing. He throws a very flammable tank full of gasoline. He would have thrown it at it as the Hydra would have sliced it in half, completely soaking itself. As whenever Deku does throw another piece of metal equipment, it immediately hits the ground, sparking, as the Hydra would go up in flames, beginning to burn, as it would fall to the ground close to death. Deku would immediately run forward as he would just dig his hands into it and start ripping at it as he's trying to stop it from regenerating, immediately consuming it as he absorbs all of its biomass. Now, as that happens, Elizabeth is just a bit more intrigued as she watches Deku unlock his tendrils. Before Deku could create his critical mass explosion, though, she immediately just jumped away, going as far away from him as possible, as Deku, he would just feel himself hitting a limit. His body feels like it's about to explode, and it would finally do so, as in every single direction you can think of, tendrils and spikes shoot out of his body, covering the entire factory as they would all come back towards him and he would absorb all the infected that got caught by one of these spikes, or tendrils, as he would fall to the ground, panting and exhausted, as he would just ask what the hell that was. You're making good progress. Well, I call that critical mass. What? It's where you absorb too much. That's possible? Of course it's possible. Even then, the virus does have limits. Now, listen, as she would immediately say that he needs to go back home. Deku being a bit more confused by this, asking exactly why she's acting like this. You're not my mother. Kid, I'm not your mother, yes, but I'm at least a decent person. As she looks away from Deku, not while saying that. Deku just asking if she even believes that herself. She would immediately turn to him and just tell him to leave, as Deku would do so. As soon as he walks out the door, she immediately goes around the back and jumps over the building, taking an entire city block, jumping through it, and getting back to the settlements, as she would turn back into the man, walking straight in. As that does happen, she would find a way to Deku's house and sneak out the back door, as she would jump over the wall and immediately walk in as Inko, saying that she just got back from her own run. They would explain that the doctor, well, welcome back, doctor, and tell her that Alex just got back too. With that being said, she would have immediately walked back into the house as she would transform, waiting for Deku. Deku would have gotten back home, as he would have been confused to see him. He doesn't have his hoodie, but he still does have his hands and his arms wrapped, as they would have asked him if he's okay. He would just say that he's fine. He was just having a bit of fun. What do you mean by fun, kid? Oh, I kinda got chased down by the infected, so I tried making a game of it. Did you at least use the traps? Yeah, I used the traps. Good. Now, Deku would immediately walk in as he does get home. As Inko, she would just say that she's preparing food, so he better be hungry. Deku's somewhat just thinking, not really. Now, as it is happening, Sergeant James Heller, he is knocking on doors, asking questions, and talking to people, as he would knock on Deku's door. Deku would immediately turn around, opening it, as he would see the man. The man would just ask if his parents are home, and Deku would just say that his mother is here. Inko walking into the next room, seeing Sergeant James Heller. Now, she would see him and she does look at him, as he would just ask if she's actually the doctor. She would just say that she started medical school before the outbreak, but she did keep her book, so she's the closest thing they have. As long as you don't need me to perform surgery. Oh. Well, do you at least know how to put a few ribs back in place? Oh yeah, no, that should be easy. As he would sit down and Inko would help him. 1, 2, 3, as she would push in on his ribs, putting them back into place, telling him to at least drink some water. They just got replacement pieces for the water filters. If you guys are confused whenever I did say kitty litter, charcoal, and sponges earlier, you can create a water filter out of those. It's just that you have to... If I tried explaining it, it'd be easier if you guys look up a picture of it. So, if you guys are interested in that, you guys can look it up. It's like a zombie apocalypse water filter thing. Now, those are basically the replacement pieces. He would just say that he doesn't really trust it and he'll stick with the water he brought, as he holds up a giant thermos. She would just ask him if he's going to stick around, and he would just say not really. In fact, the only pro that they have here is Mount Lady. Even then, she's a bit odd. He prefers to stick to his own guns. So, with all due respect, ma'am, as soon as you patch me up here, I'm just going to stay the night and then leave. Besides, I got some intel on Elizabeth Green. Oh, really? Would you mind sharing? It would at least give me some peace of mind. Sure, Doc. Well, I heard that she's been recently spotted nearby. In fact, I think I saw her today. Really? Where? Down by an old factory I saw her walk in. But one thing was weird. I heard a giant scream from the factory and then someone came running out. Oh, do you know who this was? Not really. But I do have a suspicion. Can I speak with your boy? Sure. I'm not sure what you would want from him. As she would walk back into the kitchen, preparing food. As Deku does walk back into the room. Hallow would just start asking Deku questions, asking him where he was today. He would just say that he went on a supply run, then he kinda got chased down by some infected. But he did have to use the traps. Really, kid. You weren't over by this factory? Oh, yeah, Mr. Heller, I was over there. It's just I walked in and there was an entire group, like, den of them. It was crazy. I ran out as fast as I could. Really. You mind telling me where this place was again? As Deku would give the exact address. Heller would just nod as he would just say, it's funny because he saw Elizabeth Green there. He wouldn't happen to know anything about that. Deku would just be nervous as he would just say, no, no, he doesn't. If he was that close to Elizabeth Green, he's glad he got out of there when he did. Besides, that lady took his father from him. He wants payback just as much as he does. No. Heller, hearing this, he would be a bit intrigued, as he would just say, alright, kid. Well, if you want some payback, as he would immediately just pull out one of his sidearms, saying that he's going to at least have to teach him how to shoot a gun. No. Inko, hearing this, she would just say that they at least need to be careful. No. As that is happening, Deku, he would go outside and he would be taught how to shoot this off. There. He would go up to the rooftops as he is taking aim and shooting down at the infected outside their settlements, as he's having a little bit of fun. Ochako joining in and actually taking a few shots, but it not working. Now, I want to say she would miss, but her never holding a firearm before would be a bit more difficult. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. I will catch you guys in the next part.